Hi guys, this is Josh Lloyd. I'm the host of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, the lead analyst at basketballmonster.com and at Yahoo Sports Australia as well. And today I'm doing a quick show to talk to you about NBA betting for the season coming up. Today's show is brought to you by Betfair, the world's biggest betting exchange. Betfair's betting exchange lets you bet against other people and get great odds on thousands of markets every day. What we're doing today, and you can see my content all season on the Betfair Exchange Hub, where I'm going to be talking about, I've got a season preview up there at the moment, lots of other great stuff, plus some game previews throughout the season as well. That's the Betfair Exchange Hub, so go and check that out. Today, what we're looking at is the division winners across all 6 NBA divisions, conference champions and NBA champions, giving you the best value bet for each of those markets, as well as the NBA MVP and the NBA Rookie of the Year. So let's get to it. And we will start by looking at the Atlantic Division. Of course, 30 teams in the NBA, 6 divisions, 5 teams in each division. The Atlantic Division, we've got the New York Knicks, the Brooklyn Nets, the Philadelphia 76ers, the NBA champion Toronto Raptors, and the Boston Celtics. Now, I don't think that the Boston Celtics, they're not the favourite to win this division. I think the Philadelphia 76ers rightfully, or I know they are the favourite, and rightfully they are the favourite. But in terms of value bets for this division, the Celtics at the moment are coming in at $5.07 to win the Atlantic Division. The Sixers, an injury to Joel Embiid, we saw how much of an impact Embiid's absence could have in the playoffs, and if that goes wrong, if he gets hurt for a significant amount of time this season, they will drop off. The Toronto Raptors don't have Kawhi Leonard, they don't have Danny Green. How much of a step forward can Pascal Siakam take? How much can Kyle Lowry handle? How much more does Marc Gasol have in the tank after a FIBA World Cup victory? They're the 3 teams who are going to be the top of this division. Of course, the Nets did get Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, but we're not going to see Durant this season. So it appears to be not only a 3-horse race, probably more of a 2-horse race between the Celtics and the Sixers. And the Celtics coming in at $5.07 to win the Atlantic Division, I just think represents great value. Again, they're not the favourite, rightfully so, but you can very easily envisage a situation where Embiid gets hurt and misses games, or that rejiggering of the starting lineup, adding Josh Richardson and Al Horford, replacing JJ Redick and Jimmy Butler. Maybe that doesn't work. Who's going to be the shooter on that team? Redick was averaging 18 points per game last season. He's no longer there. Simmons can't shoot. Embiid's an below average shooter. Horford's okay on low volume. Richardson struggled last season. Tobias Harris is an okay shooter, but none of them are knockdown guys like Redick. Their bench is thin. So that the Celtics team, without Kyrie causing those problems in the locker room, Gordon Hayward 1 year removed from that leg and ankle issue, the addition of Kemba Walker, just a change in the way that they run. At that price, $5.07, that remains probably the best value in the Atlantic Division to win that division for this upcoming season. Remaining in the Eastern Conference, let's look at the Central Division. This is a division including the team that had the best record in the NBA last season, the Milwaukee Bucks. There's the Indiana Pacers there as well. There's the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Detroit Pistons, and the Chicago Bulls. The odds for the Bucks to win this division are extremely short, $1.17 to win this division, and that's because realistically, there's nobody who's going to challenge them. The second best team in this division is the Indiana Pacers, but their best player, Victor Oladipo, is probably going to miss all of the 2019 portion of this season. He'll be back maybe December, maybe it's January. And until then, it's going to be hard to see them and how they can mount a challenge against the Bucks. The Bucks did lose Malcolm Brogdon this last off-season. He went to Indiana, the aforementioned Indiana Pacers. They replaced him with Wes Matthews. They brought Robin Lopez in to back up his brother Brook at center. They have got George Hill, who looked reinvigorated in the playoffs. Plus, they've got the NBA MVP in Giannis Antetokounmpo. So even though that is really short odds for the Bucks to win that division, it is the only realistic scenario I can see. The Chicago Bulls have looked pretty good in preseason, but the defense is still a long way away. They're still not going to be in this position to challenge the Pistons. Probably they're a playoff team, but Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond can't take them past the Bucks. And then the Cavs, they're going to be one of the worst teams in the NBA, and they are not a realistic shot. So while it is really short odds on the Bucks, I don't really see any way that the Pacers or the Bulls or the Pistons really can come close to challenging Milwaukee. Even an injury, and then they had a significant injury to Malcolm Brogdon last season, and they still were able to roll. They've got a situation at the moment with Eric Bledsoe injured for maybe the start of the season. Only if Antetokounmpo went down long term would the Bucks struggle, and even then, I still think they might be in position to be the best team in the NBA's Central Division. Rounding out the Eastern Conference, we've got the Southeast Division, and this could be one of the worst divisions in the entire NBA. You've got the two Florida teams, the Miami Heat and the Orlando Magic. Both of these teams look pretty good, and they should be battling it out at the top of this division. Miami, of course, bringing in Jimmy Butler in the off season to be their best player. They've got a rookie who's putting up some pretty good numbers at the moment in preseason, and that is Tyler Hero. But this is a team that did miss out on the playoffs last season, but should be looking to jump back up. The Orlando Magic did win the division last season, and they did jump up into the playoffs. I think the Heat, with the addition of Jimmy Butler, could be or should be the team that looks to win that. Now, they're coming in as $1.99, which is I think it's a pretty strong price to get Miami into the to get Miami as the division winner in this division here. And the other three teams in this division, the Southeast, we've got the Washington Wizards, who could be the worst team in basketball, the Charlotte Hornets, who also could be the worst team in basketball, and the Atlanta Hawks, who are young and they're fun, but they're nowhere really near being able to challenge for that division title. It really is a two-horse race between the Magic and the Heat. Now, if Markelle Fultz takes a big step up for Orlando, they could absolutely jump up and get that division title again. Jonathan Isaacs looked great in preseason. More steps forward from Mohamed Bamba. Nick Vucevic continuing his all-star form. Evan Fournier stepping up as well. The Magic could very easily win it. I just think adding a talent like Jimmy Butler to Miami, an ascension from Bam Adebayo as their starting center, Justice Winslow becoming the starting point guard, a healthy Dion Waiters, and a rookie impact player like Tyler Hero, the Heat would be my pick at a good value of $1.99 to win the Southeast Division. Now that brings me to the Eastern Conference. I think we're going to have an Eastern Conference Finals between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Philadelphia 76ers. To me, they're the best two teams in this conference, and Philadelphia coming in at $3.28 looks to me to be the best value. Now, I actually think the Sixers will win the Eastern Conference. They're the second favorite to win the Eastern Conference behind the Bucks. So when you can get a team, and this is how I view it, that I think the Sixers can win this conference, and they come in at a pretty nice price of $3.28. That's the value pick for me. That's the one I want to look at in terms of that Eastern Conference and which team is going to come through. Now, I talked about what could go wrong for them in the regular season, but that starting five of Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris, Al Horford, and Joel Embiid could literally be one of the best NBA defenses ever. Embiid could be an MVP. Simmons could be an all-star again. Richardson goes back to being an all-defensive team player. We know Al Horford, what he can do offensively and defensively. There is issues with the bench, no doubt. But if they are healthy in the playoffs, I can see them pushing all the way through to the NBA Finals and having a real shot to win it all. I don't want to spoil that yet because we're going to talk about the NBA Championship later. But I do think the Sixers will be not only the best value in that Eastern Conference, but probably the team that I'd be picking to win it regardless of price. But at $3.28, it is pretty exciting. Over to the Western Conference. The Northwest Division. This is a division where, and pretty much all of the Western Conference is strong, but we've got Portland, we've got Utah, Denver, OKC, and Minnesota. Last year, the Denver Nuggets finished with the second seed in the Western Conference, but this year they come in with the second highest odds to win this division behind the Utah Jazz. $2.45 for the Denver Nuggets to win this division. To me, a team that comes back from a 57-win season, retains basically the same cast, but they add Jeremy Grant. They get last year's first-round pick Michael Porter healthy, and they should get a fully healthy Gary Harris and Will Barton. They could actually get better than where they were last season. Now, maybe they don't because the West is a little bit more challenging this year, but adding these guys without losing anyone really significant and getting more Harris, more Barton, the addition of Porter and Jeremy Grant, and an additional year of experience for Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, it's really hard to not see the Nuggets being at least really good spot to win this division. And at $2.45 as the second favorite, that is where the value strikes. At the team I'd probably pick to win the division anyway, but that value for the Denver Nuggets at $2.45 in this conference stands out. Now, the Jazz, they could be really good. Acquiring Mike Conley is no small thing. He is an excellent point guard replacing Ricky Rubio, but I'm just not sure how the defense is going to be able to adjust. They're making a big change. They used to play the two bigs, Derek Favors and Rudy Gobert, but Favors is gone. So they're going to be going small, stretch four style with Bojan Bogdanovic and Royce O'Neal looking to man that four spot. Maybe Jeff Green's in there. They could be shifting Joe Ingles to the bench this season as well. So numerous things that the Jazz have to try and figure out how does Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley coexist? I think there are numerous questions with this team. Not to say they can't be good, because I think they can be good, but a Nuggets team that comes in with a lot of continuity plus additions is really, really important, and I like them in this situation. Portland, they are changing their focus as well. No Yusuf Nurkic, probably until March. Bringing in Hassan Whiteside, losing Mo Harkless and Al-Farouq Aminu, going with a young guy, Zach Collins, in the starting five, adding Rodney Hood in there, relying a lot on Anthony Simons. There's a lot of change in Portland, and even though they did get to the Western Conference Finals last year, I think they'll be hard-pressed to finish in the top two of this conference, while Oklahoma City have no Russell Westbrook, no Paul George. There is Chris Paul, there is Danilo Gallinari, there is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but they're not going to be pushing to that top. They are in rebuild mode. While the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be leaning heavily on Karl Anthony Towns, and I just think that the competition they have to face is going to be too stiff for them to overcome it. The Pacific Division, this is where so much of the preseason action was, specifically in Los Angeles, with the LA Lakers and the LA Clippers making some big moves. The Lakers are $3.25 to win the Pacific Division. Now, Anthony Davis came across in a trade. He's already injured with a thumb issue, but it is clean. He looks like he'll be ready to go on opening night, so no concerns with that at this point. But the Lakers team's second favorite to the Clippers, who acquired Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, I really like the value here. Now, I could see either of these two teams winning the division. The Clippers are going to be without Paul George for the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season. They'll be carefully managing his injury return. They'll be managing Kawhi Leonard and his knee and quad issue that limited him for the last 2 seasons. So they're not going to be super focused on getting that number 1 seed. If LeBron and Anthony Davis can stay relatively healthy, they should be in line to get to that number 1 spot in this division. The Golden State Warriors have had a stranglehold on this division, but with Klay Thompson injured, with Kevin Durant gone, and their team and their bench looking unbelievably thin, it's going to be hard for Steph to push back up, Steph Curry that is, for them to push back up and win this title. There's also Sacramento and Phoenix. Phoenix should be better than last year, but not really in the discussion to win the division. And while Sacramento should be able to build on what they did last season, getting to that level of the Lakers and of the Clippers and even of the Warriors, although there is a situation where I could see the Kings winning more games than the Warriors. It's probably not going to happen, but I could see that happening. To me, the value in the Pacific Division lies with the LA Lakers at $3.25. The last division in the Western Conference is the Southwest Division. We've got the Texas teams, the Dallas Mavericks, the Houston Rockets, the San Antonio Spurs, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Memphis Grizzlies. Let's just start off by writing the Grizzlies out of this. They're going to be probably the worst team in the Western Conference. The Pelicans are going to be probably the most fun team in the NBA with Zion Williamson, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and the addition and the returning Drew Holiday. But I don't think they're quite at that level to compete. Dallas is going to have Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic in his second season. That's a fun duo. But realistically, the Rockets are the cream of the crop here. The Spurs, they have been really poor in preseason, smashed in almost every game. And even though the Rockets are quite a short favorite at $1.39, I just can't see a situation where the Mavericks can get close. The Grizzlies, no chance. The Spurs, I don't think are there. If anyone's going to shock the world, it would be the Pelicans. But even then, when you're getting the Rockets at $1.39, that's the safe play. That's the smart play. They bring in Russell Westbrook to replace Chris Paul. Now, Westbrook may not be the same player as Paul because he obviously isn't, but I have more faith in him being able to stay on the court than I did with Chris Paul. We're getting another MVP caliber season from James Harden, most likely. Eric Gordon's still there. Clint Capella's still there. PJ Tucker's still there. Mike D'Antoni's still there. There's still a lot with this team. Their depth is a little iffy, and it's been further hit by Gerald Green missing the first couple of months with a broken foot, but someone like Ben McLemore could step into that role. Chris Clemens as a microwave scoring guard off the bench can jump in there as well. So the Rockets at $1.39 are my favourites to win the division and also the best value there too. So overall, in the Western Conference, I do think the Clippers are going to win the Western Conference. That would be my pick. But in terms of looking at a value bet, the Rockets coming in at $4.52 is the one that I'd want to put my money on. I think the Rockets can end up with the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. And while I still think the Clippers probably are the team that can get over that hump and get into the NBA Finals, the value on the Rockets at $4.52, it has come in a bit lately. A few weeks ago it was at about $5. It's come in, so people are warming to the Rockets, but you're still getting good value on them at $4.52. And I think that's where the value lies on taking Houston at the $4.52 to win the Western Conference. So overall, The championship, the NBA championship, well, I have Philadelphia coming out of the East. I do think the Clippers are going to be coming out of the West. So between those two, I'm looking at the Sixers at $8.54. $8.54 as the price to be the NBA champions as the good value there. Now, I think there's a chance that they can win the title. If I had to really look at it and go, well, this is my pick and you're going to hold me to this pick and this is who I think is going to win, it probably is the Clippers. But that additional level of value on the price for the Sixers at $8.54 is the direction that I'd go. As I said, one of the best starting fives in terms of defense in the entire NBA. And you could easily make an argument that their starting five is the best in the NBA, regardless of offense or defense. Just in general, they have the best starting five in the NBA. Once you get down to the finals, we're talking 7-man, 8-man rotations. The end of the bench depth doesn't really matter as much. We're not playing back-to-backs in the finals, and I think that sort of combination could get them over the line against the Clippers. Again, I'd still probably, if odds were even, I would take the Clippers, but you're getting an extra $3 buffer here plus on the Philadelphia 76ers. So at $8.54, they are the team that I am looking at to be my NBA championship value pick. Which, of course, you can go and find those prices over on Betfair, the world's biggest betting exchange. The last two things we want to look at here are the MVP race and the Rookie of the Year. In terms of just picking the MVP, I think James Harden is probably going to be the favourite to do that. But in terms of pure value, LeBron James at $11.58 for LeBron. That is the value. If the Lakers push up and win that Pacific Division ahead of the Clippers, if they finish with a top 4 seed, which I think they will do this season, LeBron is going to have to be a big part of it. He's had a healthy offseason. He's had all offseason with no playoffs, no international ball to recover. He's got a new running mate in Anthony Davis, and that value for a guy that is universally considered one of the top 2 players of all time, $11.58 for LeBron James, I think is pretty significant value in that MVP discussion. The last market I want to touch on here is the Rookie of the Year. And I think that we all can say that Zion Williamson is the unbelievably red-hot, incandescent favourite to win this award. Nobody is denying that. But if we want to take a deeper look, a long shot type of look, we want to look at players who are going to have roles and are going to have the ball in their hands a lot. Darius Garland at $25.13, he fits that bill to me. Garland is going to be on a Cavs team, which is one of the worst in the NBA. He's going to jack up shots. He's going to hit threes. I think he's going to distribute the ball as well. Now, Ja Morant is in this mix as well, but his odds are quite short. Tyler Hero from the Miami Heat comes in at about $21 on the the Rookie of the Year market. But on a team with Winslow and Butler and Adebayo and even Goran Dragic there, will he get enough of that ball? If Garland shows that he's the real deal early on, he is going to get a chance to run this Cavs offense. Yes, Kevin Love is still there, but they will prioritize getting that guard a lot of looks. So Garland at $25, I think is a value option. And again, not who I think is going to win, but at $25 versus Zion at about $1.70, I'll put some of that money on Garland because if it comes home, the return is going to be... All it takes is Zion to get an injury or him to... I don't think he's going to get figured out necessarily by the NBA because in the preseason he's been absolutely smashing, but an injury, and that opens things wide open. And we're looking at guys who have that really large opportunity. And I think that Garland could have that even if the first couple of weeks of the season, he might be somewhat limited depending on how Coach John Beilein wants to run things. So that does it. That's my NBA betting preview for Betfair, the world's biggest betting exchange. Make sure you're checking out Betfair at betfair.com.au, and over on the hub at Betfair, you'll see my betting NBA ebook and game previews throughout the season as well, guys. Don't forget, follow me on Twitter at redrock_Beeble and on Instagram at LockedOnFantasyBasketball. We are done here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.